Do you have a cute top and skirt matching set? Hi everyone, my name is Sunju and welcome to Fashion Wonder. In this tutorial, we're going to make this adorable Cora top and skirt matching set from scratch. For this tutorial, I used medium weight poly gingham fabric that has been pre-treated before cutting and sewing. If you're a beginner and need to know sew elastic and invisible zipper, Cora sewing pattern will guide you to accomplish your sewing goals. Let's get started! To make the puff sleeve crop top, place right side of the sleeve pattern to the right side of the front top facing each other. Match the single notch in the middle and pin along the cut edge. Sew 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and finish with overlock stitch. Press the seam allowance toward the bodice. Next, place the back side of the sleeve facing the right side of the back top pattern. Match the double notch in the middle and pin along the edge. Sew 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and finish with overlock stitch. Press the seam allowance toward the bodice. Flip the top inside out and close the underarm of the sleeve and side seam of the top and back bodice with 3/8 of an inch straight stitch and finish with overlock stitch. Press the seam allowance toward the back top. Use overlock stitch to sew around the front and back neckline and hemline of the top. For sleeve, prepare 2 pieces of 10.5 inch long, 5 1/16 inch width elastic for size 6 sewing pattern. For neckline, prepare 1 piece of 26.5 inch long, 5 1/6 inch width elastic for size 6 sewing pattern. For hemline, prepare 1 piece of 30 inch long, 5 1/16 inch width elastic for size 6 sewing pattern. Join the ends of the elastic by overlapping 1/4 inch and use back and forth straight stitch or zigzag stitch to secure the ends. Mark the elastic rounds by dividing into 4 points and slide the joined elastic through the wrong side of the garment. Match the marks with notches and pin around to evenly distribute the gathering. Stretch as you sew straight stitch. Lastly, fold over the elastic to the wrong side of the garment and edge top stitch around. Therefore, you won't see the elastic on the finished garment. To sew high-waisted ruffled midi skirt, flip the sewing pattern of the front skirt and transfer the dart pin on the wrong side of the fabric with water erasable pen. Also, draw the dart leg using a ruler so it is easy to sew straight. Repeat the dart transfer on the wrong side of both back skirt pieces. Sew straight along the pen mark. Instead of backstitching, tie a double knot on the dart point to secure the ends. Press the dart away from center front and center back. Lay the right side of the front skirt and right side of the back skirt facing each other. Sew the side seam on both sides with 3/8 of an inch straight stitch and finish with overlock stitch. Next, place the right side of the front waistband and back waistband facing each other. Close one side seam of the band with 3/8 of an inch straight stitch and press the seam open. Lay the right side of the waistband facing each other. Sew the top edge of the band lengthwise with 3/8 of an inch with seam allowance. Trim the corner on both pointy ends and flip the waistband inside out. Press with iron to shave the waistband. Match the left side seam of the skirt and waistband. Pin along the front and back to sew 3/8 of an inch with seam allowance and finish with overlock stitch. Also, overlock stitch left front and back skirt pieces separately to prepare for the zipper. Press the seam allowance facing downward or toward the skirt. Press the zipper tape and open the invisible zipper to place the right side of the zipper tape on the right side of the front skirt, and sew 3/8 of an inch straight left side of the back skirt and sew 3/8 of an inch straight stitch. Lastly, close the left side seam with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance from the end of the zipper to the hemline. Press the seam open. Place the right side of the ruffle hem skirt towards each other and sew 3/8 of an inch with straight stitch and finish with overlock stitch. Press the seam on one side. Adjust the stitch length to 3.5 and double straight stitch lengthwise with 1/8 of an inch in between around the ruffle hem skirt piece. Mark the center of the front and back ruffle hem skirt piece and gently pull the back thread to start the gathering process. Match the notch and marked point, then pin each marked point and evenly distribute the gathering. Straight stitch 3/8 of an inch width and finish with overlock stitch. Lightly press on the gathering to make sure the seam allowance is facing down or toward the ruffle. Double fold the ruffle hem skirt with 1/4 inch width and straight stitch. Or you can use narrow hemming foot to make this finish even quicker. There you have it! You've sewn the Cora crop top and matching ruffled midi skirt set. Before you try them on, gently press the elastic openings with steam to give a finishing touch and make sure it is not crinkled on the skirt. Enjoy your new outfit with a cute pair of sandals and your favorite purse. Thank you for watching. Hope this sewing tutorial inspires you to make the Cora top and skirt matching set from gingham fabric. If you like to sew Cora set along with me, I'll have a sewing pattern link in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for my next sewing journey. And share your outfit on Instagram at #FashionWonderOfficial and follow us so you won't miss any sewing tips and inspirations. See you in the next tutorial. Bye!